Before dawn, the courtyard at Shaolin is still stone floor, cold air. A monk, 67 years old, standing alone with one arm extended toward the sky, his entire trunk curving sideways in a slow, controlled arc. He holds that position for 3 breaths, switches sides, does it again, 7 minutes total. He's done this every morning for 40 years. In the same decade he started this practice, his peers in the West were told to rest their backs, take anti-inflammatories, and see a specialist. The American back pain industry would grow into a $30 billion market. He never needed any of it. The movement he's doing has a name. Monks call it star plucking, and what it does to the spine, what it has always done, is something modern medicine only recently found language to describe. What does a monk know about your spine that your doctor hasn't told you? Researchers comparing traditional Chinese exercises rank this practice, Yi Jin Jing, the system that contains star plucking, #1 for improving lumbar spine bone density above all competitors. A 12-month clinical study found a 74% improvement rate in lumbar muscle strain. The practice costs nothing, takes 7 minutes, and it works by doing the one thing every passive back treatment has failed to understand. Before the protocol, there are 3 things you need to know. At minute 9, I'll show you the movement monks never skip and why skipping it undoes everything. At minute 12, the exact mechanism that makes back clinics fail long-term and why the industry has no incentive to tell you. And at minute 14, something built into this practice that most people practicing it never find. It's the difference between doing the movements and actually transforming the spine. It starts with what happens to your body between the moment you wake up and the moment you sit down for breakfast. Monks at Shaolin have practiced this sequence every morning for centuries, not because they suffered from back problems, but because they understood something about gravity that most people never think about until the damage is already done. Every night you sleep, your intervertebral discs rehydrate. They absorb fluid, expand, and decompress. You wake up taller than when you went to bed, measurably taller, by up to a full centimeter or more. Then gravity starts. Studies tracking spinal height throughout the day found that adults lose an average of 1.66 meters between morning and evening, over half an inch gone by dinner, and 39 to 59% of that loss happens in the first 90 minutes after you rise. The moment you stand up, gravity begins compressing you. The discs that spent all night recovering start losing ground immediately. After 50, those discs don't recover as fully as they did at 30. Disc degeneration affects 10% of men at age 50. By 70, it's 50%. So when your back tightens after sitting for 2 hours, when you reach for something and feel that familiar resistance, when getting up off the floor has become a production, that's not weakness. That's a spine that was never taught to fight back against what gravity does to it every single day. That's precisely what star plucking was designed to address. The principle is called active decompression. Your spine can create space between its own vertebrae, not through a machine pulling you apart, not through a therapist's hands, but through loaded lateral movement that the body learns to sustain on its own. Think of your spine as a compressed spring. A machine can open it temporarily, but active movement teaches the spring to hold itself open even after you walk away. Star plucking is the mechanism. Here's your first test. Stand up right now. Reach one arm directly overhead as high as you can. Palm toward the ceiling. Feel where it stops. Feel the resistance along the side of your spine, under your ribs into your lower back. That pull, that wall is exactly what we're addressing today. Hold that memory. You'll repeat this test at minute 15, and what you feel then will be your proof. Tier 1 begins here. This is the foundation. 5 minutes every morning. Nothing required. Stand with feet shoulder width, knees soft. Raise your right arm slowly overhead, palm facing up as if holding the sky. Now let your whole trunk lean to the left. Not the arm reaching, the entire torso bending. Slow, like a tree that knows how far it can go. Your left arm drops toward the floor as a counterweight. Hold. Breathe into the right side of your lower back, specifically between the second and third lumbar vertebrae. 3 slow breaths, then switch sides. 4 repetitions per side. 5 minutes. 7 days of this. And one thing will change. The stretch starts to travel. Instead of stopping at your shoulder, it moves down through the lateral chain of your spine. You'll feel it below your ribs. That's when you know the movement is reaching where it needs to go. The most common mistake here is leaning with the arm instead of bending with the trunk. The arm is secondary. The spine curving sideways is the entire point. If you don't feel it below your ribs, cut the arm extension in half and increase the trunk lean. That's what unlocks it. Tier 1 is the entry point, but it hits a ceiling. And the reason why takes us directly to what modern back care has gotten wrong for decades. You've been told the solution to back pain is decompression. That's partially true. The part they don't say out loud is what happens the moment the decompression ends. A full course of non-surgical spinal decompression therapy costs between $3,000 and $6,000 for 20 sessions. Traction machines applying controlled force to the spine, and yes, disc pressure drops, pain decreases. You walk out of the clinic feeling genuinely better. Then you drive home, sit at your desk, gravity resumes, and by the next morning, the compression is back because the machine did all the work. Your muscles learned nothing. The same structural weakness that allowed the compression to happen, weakened erector spine, collapsed support along the quadratus lumborum, neglected obliques. That's still there, unchanged, waiting. This is the trap the entire industry is built on. Passive treatment addresses the symptom. It cannot address the cause. The machine decompresses you so you return for the next session. Not a conspiracy, just the architecture of passive care. It creates patients, not solutions. Surgery follows the same logic. Studies comparing spinal surgery outcomes to conservative care find no significant difference at the 6-month mark. The surgery removes the evidence of failure without fixing the failure itself. The monks built the opposite of this. Test 2. Still standing, place your right hand on your right hip. Slowly rotate your torso to the right, feet planted, and feel where it stops. Is it your lower back clamping down? Your ribs locking? That stopping point is your structural limitation, the exact location where the support has broken down. Tier 2 builds on what you established in the first 2 weeks and adds rotation. From the same standing position you've been using, extend both arms forward, fingers spread wide. Slowly rotate your torso left and right, not from the shoulders, not from the arms. The waist drives the movement, 8 rotations each direction. This is the 9th movement in the Yi Jin Jing sequence. Black Dragon displays its claws. It works on an entirely different dimension than star plucking, lubricating the facet joints, improving fluid exchange between vertebrae, reaching the 17 acupuncture points that run the length of the spine. Combined with star plucking, you're now both decompressing laterally and opening rotationally. The spine is learning to maintain its own space from 2 directions simultaneously. This is the difference between temporary relief and structural change that persists. At the 30-day mark, people report the same thing. They forget about their back, not because the pain has been masked, but because the conditions that produce the pain have shifted. One warning: don't add rotation before 2 full weeks of lateral decompression. Tier 1 prepares the structure for rotational load. Skip that preparation, and the rotation becomes the next thing that hurts you. The sequence is not optional. Now, the complete system and the piece of this practice that most people never reach. At minute 6, I said there's something built into this practice that most people miss. Here it is. Monks don't just perform the shape of star plucking. During the hold, they direct their attention to a specific anatomical location, the Ming-Man point, the gate of life, situated between the 2nd and 3rd lumbar vertebrae at the back of the waist. When they lean into the stretch, they're not just creating a physical arc. They're breathing into that precise point, feeling it open. This sounds like meditation. It isn't. It's proprioception, the ability to sense what is happening inside your own body with enough precision to change how it responds. Modern exercise culture has largely abandoned this. Monks have cultivated it as the foundation of physical practice for generations. The research supports it. Movement performed with directed internal awareness produces different neuromuscular recruitment than movement done mechanically. The stabilizing muscles engage differently when you actually know where you're working. This is why Yi Jin Jing ranked first for lumbar bone density, not because the movements are more intense than competing exercises, but because the precision of internal focus changes what the body does with the movement. Test 3, the mastery test. Stand tall, do a full star plucking. Right arm overhead, trunk bending left. 3 slow breaths, but this time close your eyes during the hold. Can you feel the stretch below your ribs and the side of your lower back traveling toward your hip? Not shoulder tension, the lateral lumbar region specifically. If you can locate it with your eyes closed, you found the practice at the depth monks use it. Now the complete 7-minute system. Minute 1, overhead press. Both arms rise slowly, palms up toward the sky as if pressing against the ceiling. Rise onto your toes if your balance allows. 6 repetitions. This creates axial elongation, the spine lengthening upward against gravity before the lateral work begins. A reset before the reset. Minutes 2 through 5. Star plucking. 4 repetitions per side. 5 to 7 breaths per hold. Eyes closed. Attention at the Mingman point between L2 and L3. The opposite arm presses down and slightly behind as the reaching arm extends. Don't rush the holds. The time and position is where the work happens. Minutes 6 and 7. Black dragon rotation. Arms extended forward, fingers spread. 8 slow rotations each direction. Waist drives everything. Finish standing still for 5 breaths and notice the difference in your height, your ease, the amount of space you feel in the lower back. 3 to 5 sessions per week produces structural change. Daily is how monks practice. If you feel sharp pain, not stretch, not discomfort, but actual pain during the rotation movements, stop and return to lateral decompression only for 2 more weeks. Range of motion before rotational load every time without exception. If after 2 weeks you still can't feel the lateral stretch below your ribs, the arm is doing too much work. Reduce the arm extension by half and let the trunk bend more. The movement lives in the spine, not the shoulder. If nothing has shifted by day 14, slow down by half. The nervous system needs time to register new movement patterns. Speed is the enemy of this particular practice. Here's what to expect when you stay with it. In the first session today, do test 1 now. Complete the protocol, then repeat the test. For most people, the difference in overhead reach is immediate and measurable. Disc spacing responds to active decompression in real time. This is not placebo. Tomorrow morning, getting out of bed will feel different. The first steps, that stiff startup sequence that's become normal, will be shorter. At 7 days, the stretch travels. You feel the lateral decompression in the lumbar region, not just the shoulder. The movement is reaching its target. At 30 days, posture changes that others notice before you do. Overhead reach improves beyond what you felt in the first session. The back stops consuming attention throughout the day. At 90 days, the Shaolin benchmark, the spine is no longer a limiting factor. Not because pain was managed, but because the structure that produces the pain was rebuilt. The full picture is clear. Modern back care was built on passive intervention. You receive treatment, leave, return, $3,000 to $6,000 for a decompression course, $100 per chiropractic visit, and inversion table gathering dust. Each of these things can temporarily relieve disc pressure. None of them teach your spine to maintain decompression on its own. The model requires your continued dependence to function. Monks built the opposite, daily active movement that strengthens the exact muscles responsible for spinal spacing. 7 minutes, no equipment, no appointment, no dependency. The body learns to be its own solution and keeps that learning permanently. The monk in that Shaolin courtyard before dawn, he's not moving like that because he's exceptional. He's moving like that because he has done 7 minutes of active decompression every morning for 40 years and never stopped. His spine maintains itself. That's a built capability, not a gift. Built 1 session at a time. Here's what to do starting now. In the next 10 minutes, complete Tier 1 star, plucking 4 repetitions per side. Do the overhead reach test before and after. That comparison is your evidence that this works. Tonight before bed, 3 repetitions per side, 2 minutes. Let the spine decompress before 8 hours horizontal. Tomorrow morning before coffee, before anything else, 7 minutes. Tier 1. Make it the first deliberate act of the day. This week, 1 goal only, 7 consecutive mornings. Not perfection of form, not the full advanced protocol, Just showing up for 7 minutes and paying attention to where the stretch travels. The one thing that ends progress before it starts is treating this as rehabilitation. Star plucking is not a repair for something broken. It is daily maintenance for a spine that gravity compresses every single day without exception. The monks practiced this before they had back problems. And that is precisely why they never did. If someone in your life has tried everything, the clinics, the machines, the medications, and nothing has held, send them this. Not because it's a miracle, but because it's a system. And systems outlast treatments every time. That monk in the cold courtyard before dawn, now you know what he knows. Your spine is not failing you. You were never shown how to maintain it. Start today. If this story changed how you look at the strength of your own spine, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the ancient wisdom that modern systems have often overlooked. Build your foundation. The next treasure of health will be revealed soon.